Hi, everybody. So I wanted to share this analogy that I wrote in a support group this morning. It's a shitty analogy. That's just the necessary title for this. So when you're dealing with a narcissistic ex and they don't want to leave your life, they're always coming back. It's like when you dump somebody, dump being the operative word, it's like taking a shit, and you flush it and it's gone and it's out of your life. Not a narc. They're like that piece of shit that floats back to the surface, and no matter how much you flush, they just come floating right back up to the surface. So the more you flush, the more it floats back up. And the more frustrated you become, because now you're spending all this time, effort, and energy flushing the damn toilet, wasting water, wasting time, wasting energy on something that's really not all that important energy. Anyways, so at some point, you got to stop wasting water, stop wasting energy, and move on, right? So, what do you do? Well, simply put, you can lead a normal life if there's a piece of shit in your toilet. You have to see it for what it is. You have to see this person for what they are. They're a piece of shit. They're not a major part of your life. They're there. They won't go away. But you have to put it in that perspective because that's what they are. So, how do you deal with a piece of shit that won't go away? Just put the lid down so you ignore it. And when you're doing your business, conduct your business as usual. You ain't got to look at it. And if you happen to take a shit on top of that previous piece of shit, who cares? Now they have company at least, right? So, what else can you do? You can blame yourself for having made that piece of shit to begin with. You can blame yourself for maybe I should have gone and used a bush because then it wouldn't be in my house, right? Maybe I should have just, shit into a plant. Or maybe you can think, you know what? I'm done with food. I'm not going to continue eating food if there's a chance that it's going to produce such a persistent piece of shit. Which is what happens whenever you decide to stop dating and stop meeting people and stop being social. That's literally like saying, I'm not going to eat anymore because I can't deal with the shit it produces. So think about that. Maybe therapy can work if you can bring a therapist to your relationship with your piece of shit in the toilet. Bring a therapist in. Maybe a therapist can change your piece of shit. Maybe they can make this piece of shit realize it's a piece of shit and that it should just sink, right? Maybe you'll blame yourself when a therapist fails to change your piece of shit into something more pleasant. Maybe you can blame yourself for having even thought a therapist could help your piece of shit. Maybe you can blame yourself for thinking a therapist could help you see your piece of shit differently, maybe under a different light or different ambiance. Right? So, this whole analogy is really shitty, but it rings true. A narcissist is a piece of shit. They're a piece of shit that you've created, that you've allowed into your house, and now it refuses to go away. But the thing about it is, it's just the smell, the only thing it can do, it doesn't really have much power, except it can make a nasty stink from time to time if you go near it. Shut the door, turn on the fan, go use another one. Eventually it'll melt or it'll see its way out. Sooner or later, it's gonna go away, Don't blame yourself for poor choices in toilets. Don't blame yourself for having eaten some spicy food because it's delicious, only to find out the consequences later are shitty. Conduct your life like you normally would, and don't invest so much effort and energy and resources in focusing on why this piece of shit refuses to go down the toilet. Just leave it there. It can stink. It's not going to go down no matter how hard you try. Therapy is not going to work with it. You can't yell at it. You can't yell at this piece of shit. You can't scream at this piece of shit. You can't come into the bathroom and conduct warfare with it like, oh, you think you can stink? Well, here, I'm a fart and create even more stink. It's not gonna affect that piece of shit. No matter how much you fart, and no matter how many other dumps you take on top of it, and you go and try to add more shit to the bowl, eventually you're gonna flush it and it's gonna come right back up. So that's why they say going no contact is the most effective solution. And if you can't go no contact, in other words, if you can't just shut the door to the bathroom and ignore that it's there and let it go away on its own, say you have a one bathroom house and you're forced to acknowledge the presence of it, right? Well, then what do? You just go into the bathroom and you just ignore the smell and just pretend it's not there. You ignore the toilet. And if you got to use the toilet, don't bother looking into it. Don't bother checking it. You just raise the lid, sit backwards, conduct your business like you normally would, and move on. The smell is going to be there. It's going to be there. You just got to learn to see it for what it is, and just accept its presence there. Don't waste your time, your effort, your energy, your water. Don't waste resources. Don't waste emotions. Don't waste your life focusing on what's in your toilet. You already shit anyways. Don't concern yourself with it. You just stay out of the bathroom or go in there and do what it is you need to do with life, and stop worrying about it. It will go away eventually, as all pieces of shit do. Thank you very much for listening. I realize this was probably the shittiest video I've ever made. But I love a good pun. And this started off as kind of sort of just a humorous tongue-in-cheek thing in a support group. And then it turned into a well-developed humorous analogy. So hope you liked it. If you didn't, I don't give a shit. Thank you. Please like, comment, or share. We'll see you on the next video.